upcoming war is that for United States and Israel, hitting whatever they want inside Iran is not a challenge. Like, it's pretty straightforward. They know how to do it, and the size of Iran is not going to stop them, right? The main challenge of this war is defending US interests in the region after the Islamic Republic wants when the Islamic Republic wants to respond, right? With their ballistic missiles. And ballistic missiles, the ultrasonic ones, some of their ballistic missiles are hard to intercept. So the cruise missiles are easy to intercept. Their drones are really easy to intercept. Some of their ballistic missiles are easy to intercept, but there are some of them that are fast. Those are harder to intercept, and I don't know how many of those they have. There are different estimates, but those are the ones that you need to look out for. That's the reason why if the war is inevitable, is taking this long, is the idea of we need to protect Israel, we need to protect the UAE, we need to protect Qatar, we need to protect Saudi Arabia, we need to protect Jordan, we need to protect everybody in the region, and we need to make sure not a single missile drops on any of their cities. That is the thing that is challenging, and also more important than everything for the United States, we need to make sure not a single American soldier dies, right? That is the highest priority. So to prepare for all of that, that is the challenge. But hitting targets inside Iran, easy for Israel, easy for the United States. Jeffrey, did you want to comment on that?
Absolutely. So you touched on a lot of key issues and you bullseyeing a lot of them, everyone that you mentioned. I'm going to add to that. It's very true. If we want to, it's the United States and or Israel can very much hold at risk and destroy probably any target we want to, or at least put steel on target. Some of them are hardened underground, which means you have to dig with bombs. We can still do that. As far as Armin was right, the idea is to a successful decapitative strike would have success defined as fully suppressing, or at least to the degree that is acceptable, suppressing Mullah retaliatory capability. And that's why he talked about taking out missile launchers or tells. That's also why Israel went after the launchers, right? Because if you destroy the launchers, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 underground, you can't launch them, right? You have nothing to launch them from. He's very much correct on that. The other thing is making sure we harden critical infrastructure within our allied states in the area, from proxies like Houthis and Hezbollah and the rest of them targeting them. That's why Israel did the shaping exercise they did when they took out the Hezbollah leadership with their beeper campaign. That's one of the reasons they did that. I want to add one last constraint, and that's one that Pete Hegseth right now is in the process of very much correcting, which is ensure the overall amount of long range munitions and defensive missiles, our overall stockpile in defensive interceptors and long range strike munitions vis a vis other threats posed in other theaters. So the Chinese hitting Taiwan or Putin hitting Europe, and they're all coordinating each other. We're in the process of fixing that. And that's why we're moving other assets that allows to take some of the pressure off of those long range strike munitions, like Tomahawks and the rest of that. Armin's very correct when he named the reason why people talk about the aircraft carriers, because aircraft carriers allow you to maintain sustained operations. Whereas Tomahawk laden submarines, they give you one hell of an initial punch. Like if you have all four, you talk about launching like almost 500 Tomahawk missiles in less than 6 minutes, and that means 600 targets are going to have a 500 targets have a really bad day. They're going to have a real bad day. Yeah, well done, Armin.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay, to fix apparently what my brain just took over earlier, I want to learn more curse words. That's apparently not at all what
Oh.
LF asked. She would like to know if we could have a video or some sort of training for the words that are in the chants, commonly used chants.
Oh, okay, okay,
A lot
okay.
of sense too, and I
So,
also like that, but maybe part two curse words.
okay. Well, I mean, we could do one chant every day. I mean, do we know the main ones? Like Malik Bar dictator is death to the dictator. Malik Bar Khamenei is death to Khamenei. Marg bar Jumhuri Islami is death to the Islamic Republic. Javid Shah is long live the king. این آخرین نبرد پهلوی برمیگرده is this is the final battle. Pahlavi will return. So these are the main ones. Let me know if you want to know more. Right.
I don't
So
have many of them memorized.
one more is Marg bar Sefaset Mullah Chapi Mujahid, which means death to the three corruptions, the Mullahs, the leftists, and the MEK. So that's a famous one as well. Yeah.
Okay, next we have Adam.
I saw a post about a son of Hamas who we were talking about yesterday, and I realized I don't really know what I'm reading, and I thought, oh wait, I'm in school. I can ask a question again. And so I put a link. Who is Fuzul Mahala? Is that a person or a news outlet? Because it's written like it's a
I
single. Here,
w- w-
let me share this image. If you can approve the screen share. And
okay, let me allow screen sharing.
oh, let me try. Because to be fair, this person isn't really saying enough. They're just saying like, "Can't we all get along?" But they're screenshotting Goldie and saying, "Oh, why
Can
can't we all get
can you give
along?"
us some context for people before you
Yeah,
ask this? Because some people might not know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah. So son of
So
Hamas, who many of us have seen on Piers Morgan, maybe, who was originally. You were saying yesterday that you guys were trusting him, but now you're not so sure. But this post doesn't even say anything about
so you're talking
separatism.
about Musab. You're talking about Musab, which I never trusted, by the way.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. You said you always thought that he was not very clever, and you just that people liked him.
Retarded. The word I used was retarded.
This is a bad tab to share. Anyway, this I'll just read this really quick then. What does it say? It says, "This is a message not just to those who follow me and have personally reached out to me, but directly to Goldie Gamari and Mosab Hassan Yousef." Now, I don't know who this is. It looks like a news outlet, a person. But it says, "I respect you both immensely. I believe you both love Iran and want what is best for the Iranian people. That shared intention matters more than any single disagreement. I disagree with Goldie's view of Mossab, and I also disagree with Mossab's view of Pahlavi. Disagreement should not mean erasure, and it should not mean turning on whatever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I think I know what our answer is going to be to this, but Reza Pahlavi has never sought to return to Iran as Shah. He lives a good life in the U.S. and does not need power, status, or risk. His position is clear. If he returns, it would be as an interim figure to help stabilize Iran after this regime collapses and then step aside for a democratic process chosen by the people. Whilst this is a hugely simplified summary, I believe him, and the past is the past. I also know Goldie's respect for Reza runs deep. My own father shared that respect and was in contact with Reza before my father passed. These bonds are not superficial, they come from genuine concern for Iran's future. As for Masab, and this is where I don't really know what's going on much, even when he says what he says is painful or difficult to hear, I do not believe canceling him serves the cause. He has been a force for good, and movements that destroy their own voices over disagreement inevitably weaken themselves. The real enemy is the regime, not each other. A united house shall stand, divided one shall fall. And he just basically says we all need to get along, but he doesn't actually address the substance of anything. Like for a guy who says he doesn't want to cancel him, he's not addressing what he's saying either. So it's a bit of a funny
Yeah.
move
So
to
this person who
he is
posted this
facile.
is also this person who posted this is also retarded because he started by saying that Musab, son of Hamas, he knows that he loves Iran. But if he actually did half a minute of research, he would realize that even before he was posting against Pahlavi, he was posting against Iranian people as a whole.
Hmm.
So he doesn't love Iran. He hates Iranian people. So where is he getting that from? That he loves Iran?
Yeah, good. I just thought you could comment further on it, so I'll let you take from here and fill us in about
Yeah.
about.
I think he's just jealous of Iranians because like it's pretty unique. Like people find it like, oh my god, look, an Arab who's pro-Israeli, who's anti-Hamas. But that's not very interesting when you I think it just loses its interest when you have millions of Iranians from the Middle East being this aggressively anti-Islamic. So it just loses, like having an Arab person saying, "Oh, Islam is bad." Sometimes people in the West like, "Wow, so cool. We haven't seen that before." But then if you have millions and millions of people from the Middle East coming out and saying, "I shit on Islam. I shit on every page of the Quran," then that is not a very right? Then your position of being anti-Hamas and anti-Islam is not very interesting anymore because it's just very common. Like that view is coming from the Middle East. So I think he feels threatened by the Iranians' anti-Islamic position, pro-Israeli anti-Islamic position, right? So he's just trying to dismiss them as not important so that he maintains his. He wants to be the special boy. He wants to be like, he's basically saying, Israelis, pick me, forget these Iranians, pick me. Like I'm the proper Middle Eastern
So
and
let's say that's
non-Israeli
him.
and
Let's say that's him, and then what I don't know about is what's this separatist movement that he's hitching himself onto? Because I'm sure it has its own separate story.
I mean, I'm not sure where that come from, but if I had to guess, he just realized that Iranians hate separatists. So he was like, "Oh, this is what you hate, so I'm just gonna jump on this." I think that's why he's supporting that. It's noticing how
Mm.
sensitive Iranians are against separatists. But again, like it's really so that's why I think Musab is supporting the Kurdish separatists. But again, remember most Iranian Kurds do not support the separatists. One, they're very patriotic and they support Iran's border integrity. I just want to use this as a way to remind any Israelis that might be listening to this at some point that supporting Kurdish separatists is not in the interest of Israel because separatism will basically cause more internal fighting between in four different countries, and the chaos in the region is basically a perfect situation for more terrorist groups to grow. Every time we have a state becoming unstable, that is exactly where groups like ISIS or Al Qaeda or Jihad Islami or these other groups grow using instability. So, supporting any movement that is challenging the border integrity of not just one, but four different countries of Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey is basically a perfect way to get to a point where the Middle East is producing more groups like Hamas, more groups like Hezbollah, which eventually is going to cause more chaos in Israel. Israel, this is why I believe that Israel doesn't want war. People keep accusing Israel of being warmongering. I think Israel is more than any country in the Middle East. Israel wants peace in the Middle East because a country that is being is its existence is being challenged constantly is more interested in peace than any other country because other countries when they go into war it's their border integrity or some of their civilians who are being challenged, but when Israel goes to war, its entire existence is being challenged. This is why it's always in the best interest of Israel to try to eliminate sources of war. And that's why it's in the best interest of Israel to get a stable Middle East. And the best way to get a stable Middle East is to have other partners and other strong countries as allies of the Middle East. So having Iran as a stable country and ally of Israel is the best way to bring stability. Having Iran and Israel working with each other to stabilize the region is the best way to bring security to Israel. Oh, thank you,
Thanks. That
Jeffrey.
clears up
Approves.
a fair.
Thank you, Adam. Good question.
Jeffrey, did you want to touch on that or was your thumbs up?
Kurdistan thing. I was just going to say that I was going to ask, I mean, if you could speak on this, because this seems to be a recurring issue that's being leveraged by the Mullah regime and or their supporters to try and fragment solidarity and continuity mission and effort amongst the anti-Mullah pro-Iranian protester diaspora. It seems that there's some opportunistic thinking of certain actors that the fall of the mullahs equals like an opportunity to carve up Iran. That's not a good idea. Like I would contend that's not a good idea. Uh, Can you elaborate more on some of those opportunistic, those actors that are engaging that opportunism and why it is they might be doing that?
Well, it makes sense why they think this is their chance, right? Because they've been dreaming about having an independent state for many many years, and they think that if the mullahs fall, there's going to be a period where there's no state, right, inside Iran. So that would be a window of opportunity for them to be able to achieve their dream coming true. So it makes sense why they're thinking that. One thing that I want to add to that is how one other reason why that's ridiculous, though, is that they can't agree on their borders, right? So, for example, in Iran, more than Kurdish separatists, you need to be worried about so-called Turkish separatists, right? And the Turkish separatist area that they want, basically, a lot of it is the same areas that the Kurdish think should be part of an independent Kurdistan, right? So a lot of analysts will guarantee that if even we get to a place where the Turkish separatists and the Kurdish separatists are getting close to the dream, you're going to see a bloodbath between Turkish separatist groups and Kurdish separatist group because of the overlap on the areas that they want, right? Not only that, you're going to also see a lot of a bloodbath between different Kurdish separatist groups, because a lot of people talk about Kurdish separatist groups as if they're one people and they're all united to have like an independent Kurdistan. They hate each other and they constantly are attacking each other over leadership. So this is going to be a hot mess. Like this is going to be like, oh guys, yeah, let's allow the Kurdish separatists to have their Kurdistan. They're not only they're going to be fighting against four country states, they're going to be fighting against the Turks, and they're going to, more importantly, be fighting against each other for decades to come. I mean, like here's another thing: the Kurdish separatists that in Iran, the number one people they have managed to kill is Kurdish people. Like the number one people that the Kurdish separatist armed forces that they have killed in Iran is other Kurds. I don't know if does that even answer your question?
Close. So I mean, I got the opportunistic part. Can you speak on the underlying motives behind why they want that separatism, and the reason that's operationally significant is what is the chance of, say, anti like pro Mullah regime elements using intra Kurdish separatist conflicts to cause insecurity flows, either to undermine our efforts, the anti Mullah Persian protesters' ability to take down the mullahs, or to destabilize Iran after Mullah regime is taken down during His Highness Prince Reza Pahlavi's transitionary period? And what can we do
But
to
I didn't
maybe
understand the second question. Can you
like let's okay, so the Mullah regime comes down. His Highness
yeah.
Prince Reza Pahlavi comes in as a transitionary government, transitionary period. Is there things in place that we can implement to ensure that other pro Mullah
Mm.
actors after the Mullah falls stir up aggravation and conflict between different Kurdish separatists with the idea of having some of those insecurity flows spill over into Iran to try and destabilize Iran during its transitionary period?
Is there anything we could do to basically stop that or limit that? But that's what you're saying. Okay. All right. So the reason why some of them want to do it is because this is their bread and butter, right? Because they get paid for doing this. This is the movement that they belong to. This is their being a separatist is their identity, and they don't know anything else. This is their identity. A lot of them are commies, by the way, if you go with the Kurdish separatists, and they're basically against all forms of governments, modern nation states. They consider like they want to make their own commie utopia like Rajava or something like that. So they would probably be more anti-Pahlavi that they're even anti-Mullah, right? Because they would see the Pahlavi as an extension of imperialism and capitalism and all that stuff, right? So some of them are like that. So their motivations vary. Some people suggest that they because they're oppressed, and like who is not oppressed inside Iran? Like what the right? What are you talking about? Right? So like the whole country is oppressed. Like there's that. But okay, so regarding one thing I want to mention is that they're actually the Islamic Republic likes them. A lot of people think the Islamic Republic is against the separatists, but the Islamic Republic benefits a lot from separatists, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting supported by the Islamic Republic, because the Islamic Republic's main narrative is that one of its main narratives has always been that even if you don't like me, I'm the only thing that is holding Iran together. So the fear of separatism has been a major way that the Islamic Republic has been ruling. When regards to what plans Prince Reza Pahlavi would have during the transition period. I mean, if you look at their plans, they talk about working, cooperating with the other people in the region, using the Artesh immediately to defend the borders, using high tech, drone technology and other technology to monitor borders. I do think that many Kurdish people and Azeri people themselves would be like signing up to defend the borders. So we, like, for example, with our Kurdish separatists, we have so many Kurds who are patriotic and would want to defend Iran's borders, that I think we're not going to have a shortage of people volunteering to defend the borders. I'm not saying that there's not going to be any challenge, but I'm saying people in that atmosphere, I think there's so much excitement for a new Iran, and people are going to be feeling so patriotic that when if Princess Pahlavi pulls a call to action for people, Iranians, to come volunteer and get trained and defend the borders, they're going to have waves of people showing up to answer that call. So that's something I'm assuming that will happen. When it comes to more detailed military strategies regarding defending the borders and stabilizing the country,